Late last week, the Bureau of Labor Statistics released its monthly jobs report. We apparently added 178,000 new jobs. Almost instantly, politicians and pundits hit the airwaves to broadcast this specific figure as a massive victory for the American worker. But this chart comparing recent consumer sentiment data to historical lows tells a completely different story. Everyday consumer confidence has collapsed, dropping below the height of COVID, below the 2008 financial crisis, and even lower than the oil shocks of the 1970s. People are actively reporting that jobs are exceptionally hard to find. On the corporate side, hiring platforms note that businesses are entering an extremely defensive posture. In the exact same month we supposedly added those 178,000 positions, companies formally announced over 50,000 job cuts. Even stranger, if you look deeper into that exact same government report, the internal data points contradict each other. Weekly unemployment claims spiked to 219,000. On top of that, the total available labor force, the pool of people either working or looking for work, actually shrank by nearly 400,000 people. Basic arithmetic poses a real problem here. Unemployment claims are rising, corporations are slashing headcounts, and the labor pool is shrinking. How is it mathematically possible for the official jobs figure to go up at the exact same time? We are witnessing the breakdown of a decades-old statistical model. The contradiction stems from a measuring system that no longer matches the way Americans actually work. You might assume that in the digital age, the government tracks employment flawlessly. After all, the IRS sits on a real-time withholding database that could theoretically pinpoint exactly how many workers received a paycheck in any given week. But we don't actually use that data to count jobs. Instead, the responsibility falls to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, or BLS. Every single month, this agency attempts to measure the labor market manually by running two entirely separate surveys. The first tool is the Establishment Survey. The BLS contacts individual business sites and corporate offices and simply asks them how many individual payrolls they processed during that month. The second tool is the Household Survey. This one reaches out to hundreds of thousands of citizens directly, asking them point-blank if they currently have a job, lost a job, or are actively looking for one. Ideally, these two metrics should align. However, our primary gauge for the national economy, the one that makes the front page, is built on a foundation that differs significantly from the way people experience their jobs. This visual equation demonstrates the core flaw in the reporting system. The headline number you see in the news pulls exclusively from the Establishment Survey, and the Establishment Survey counts paychecks. It does not count people. Decades ago, one person working for one employer meant one payroll. Today, a single citizen might take on 3 gig economy jobs just to keep up with rent. To the Establishment Survey, that one person registers as 3 separate jobs added to the economy. The technicalities go even further. Last month, 35,000 healthcare professionals returned to work after participating in a labor strike. Because they were absent from the previous month's payrolls, the survey mechanically recorded their return as 35,000 brand new employment opportunities created out of thin air. Because of this outdated counting method, increased economic pressure forces individuals to seek multiple incomes. The data captures those extra paychecks and mechanically rebrands civilian desperation as a booming economic expansion. To see the true scale of the error, we have to look past the heavily publicized establishment gain of 178,000 jobs and check the quiet, often ignored results of the Household Survey from the exact same month. When the government asked actual human beings if they were employed, the Household Survey reported a net loss of 64,000 jobs. Historically, these two surveys told the same story. That alignment ended in 2020. Since then, the lines have drifted further apart every year, creating a gap that complicates our understanding of the labor market. Economists at the San Francisco Fed have studied this divergence, publishing research that confirms the gap between the two surveys is currently sitting at its widest recorded level in history. The official health of the American labor market is a mirage. We are evaluating our prosperity by the single metric structurally guaranteed to overstate success. The Bureau of Labor Statistics is actually aware of this discrepancy. If you dig deep into their own technical notes, they openly publish the alternative household numbers, the massive subsequent revisions, and footnotes detailing their wide confidence intervals. But the system persists because nuance doesn't sell. Media outlets, politicians, and algorithmic trading bots ignore the complex footnotes. Everyone simply reacts to the largest, easiest to digest headline number. These reactions trigger immediate shifts in the financial markets. Within minutes of a report's release, billions of dollars move through bond yields based on data that even its creators admit is incomplete. This artificially inflated data then goes straight to the Federal Reserve. They use these exact reports to decide whether to hike or cut interest rates, dictating the cost of mortgages, auto loans, and credit card debt for every citizen in the country. Even individual business owners observe these macroeconomic signals, using an inaccurate gauge of national health to make very real decisions about whether to expand their operations or lay off their own staff. We are attempting to manage a complex, fragmented 21st century gig economy using a rigid measuring stick designed for the 1950s. The result is a society driving its economic policy blind, worshipping a tally of paychecks instead of actual human prosperity. Look at the numbers on this timeline. On the exact same day, in the exact same reporting period, the government released two different employment figures. One survey says we added 178,000 payrolls. The other says 64,000 fewer humans actually have work. Both of those numbers are technically true. They are simply measuring different things. But almost nobody outside of macroeconomics bothers to look at that second number, meaning the headline that takes over the news cycle is dictated by the payroll survey. To see the cracks in that headline figure, you only have to look at last year, when the Bureau of Labor Statistics quietly revised away 800,000 jobs that they had previously claimed were added. The headline number for an entire chunk of the year was simply wrong. Tracking every paycheck across millions of businesses is a logistical hurdle that the current survey model is struggling to clear. When the way we work changes faster than the way we measure it, the gap between the data and reality grows. These are no longer minor errors. They are structural blind spots in the very metric we use to define our economic health. The first blind spot comes down to how the counting actually works. The establishment survey doesn't count firm to firm. It counts location to location. It literally surveys individual establishments. If you look at the exact collection methodology, you can see it was designed for an era when most people commuted to a specific factory or an office, completed their rigid hours, and went home every single day. But watch what happens to the data on this map as working arrangements change. As payrolls move between cities or run out of a remote head office on the other side of the country, assigning them to a physical workplace becomes a matter of guesswork. Double counting and location glitches skew the numbers. To fill in the gaps, the BLS uses a statistical patch called the births and deaths model. It estimates how many businesses were created or shut down in any given month. The flaw of that model is how heavily it gets skewed by gig work. If a guy loses stable employment and starts driving for Uber to make rent, the model counts that as a brand new, job-creating enterprise. The primary survey misses the modern workplace, and the statistical model designed to patch it often mistakes a person struggling to make rent for a new business. The third problem is the segment of the population the payroll survey cannot see at all. An increasingly large share of the American workforce does not fit into a secure, traditional payroll position. They are private contractors, delivery drivers, freelance software engineers, consultants, and the creator economy. When a corporation prepares for an economic downturn, the first line items cut are not the W-2 staff with employment contracts. The first to go are the contractors and the freelancers. Because they lack formal employment contracts, none of those terminated workers show up on press releases. They are entirely invisible to the establishment survey. And because many aren't even eligible to file, it takes weeks or months for those lost jobs to register in unemployment claims. The American labor market is split in two. One group is sitting in an HR system, being processed by a service the government knows how to track. The other group is invoicing clients directly, bleeding off the radar the second their contracts dry up. If the payroll survey is this flawed, why do we still use it? The short answer is speed. It can give us monthly data with comparatively little collection. And generally speaking, businesses are less likely to lie about their payrolls than individual households, who might tailor their survey responses out of embarrassment about losing their jobs. But the structural reason we don't fix it is that changing the collection methodology would create a one-time discontinuity in the data series. Year-over-year comparisons would look disjointed, which causes panic in financial markets. Then there's the political incentive. Every administration in power benefits from leaving a volatile noise generator exactly where it is. A monthly headline that can swing by 200,000 jobs, depending on which sectors are on strike, is a political asset for any administration looking to craft a favorable narrative. Meanwhile, these statistics dictate how the government sets interest rates, and when corporations see artificially pessimistic payrolls, they become risk-averse, freezing their own hiring based on flawed data. When the headline numbers continually contradict the lived experience of working Americans, the statistics lose their authority. Not having faith in our economic data is a direct path to undermining faith in the economy itself.